Don't you wish that you could go back in time and do things differently? I know that I do. There's many things that I've said and that I've done that I wish I could take back, and it started right in high school. But we can't. Today, I'm sharing the top 4 things I wish I did differently in perimenopause. I'm having a conversation with myself with all the things that I wish I did differently. This is a part 1. I'm going to make another video because I have lots of things. I have a top 10 list, probably a top 20 list of all the things I would tell my younger self. These things are not in any order of importance. However, the last one kind of vies for first place in my mind. I'm really glad to see you today. The first thing I would tell my younger self is, Tanya, honor what you need. And if you don't know what you need, take some time to figure that out. What do I mean by this? For a lot of us, our years before menopause starts to rear its ugly head, those years are spent doing things for other people. We are working for someone most of the time. And if we're not doing that, we're probably caring for a significant other, a parent, children, and we put ourselves at the very bottom of the list. At least I did. If you can relate to this, let me know. And why do we do this? Is it because society has taught us that we are not good mothers or sisters or daughters or spouses if we don't put other people first, if we don't put our needs on the back burner? I've mentioned in another video or podcast episode somewhere that my mother actually gave me this message. She felt that if she put herself first, she was not a good mother. She was selfish. And so there were things that she probably could have done to take better care of herself emotionally, physically, spiritually, that she didn't do. And that's no fault of her. It's her circumstances, the way her life went. But I think a lot about this. And if I had had a different outlook before I hit menopause, would I have some of the same health issues? Or would I even have some of the same mental baggage that I have right now? Who knows? But I still would tell myself to make sure I honored what I needed, whether that was food, water, to go to the bathroom at work, or to get out of relationships that really didn't serve me. The best part about honoring what you need is that you've gotten to know yourself. And by figuring this out, you've also put yourself first, to sit down, to carve some space out for yourself and become the student of you, understanding what is important in your life. Our needs matter, and I didn't think mine did way back when, and I didn't think about it before I had children. And when I had my daughter, that was not a priority, thinking about what I needed. It was always about what she needed, and my mom, because my mom ended up living with me. I totally lost myself in there. The second thing that I would tell myself is that taking care of myself in all the ways mattered way more than being on a diet. And I've talked about non-diet nutrition here in the past. I'm actually changing a little bit of my philosophy, but the core of it is that taking care of myself with food, with diet, with nutrition, and with health was really important back then. And I'm not saying that I didn't. I thought I was, but my idea of taking care of myself was weight loss. And that seemed to be hinged on health outcomes. And I thought it would have hinged on bone health and joint health. But the fact of the matter is, I lived a protein deficient life. I counted a lot of calories for certain parts of my life, even earlier when I didn't know too much about what I was doing, like high school years. And that didn't really serve me. So if I was sitting across from myself with a glass of wine, which I would say, you better cut some of that out, I would tell myself to really think about the choices that I was making with my food, but from a mindful place. What served me, what didn't. And don't forget to include joy in part of that taking care of my nutritional health. The third thing I would tell my younger self is learn to forgive. That word forgive was actually the first word that I ever picked when I did that whole word of the year thing. I have a video about that somewhere. I'll put it in the description. I wanted to forgive my mom because I carried a lot of anger towards my mom. My relationship with my mother when I was younger, like really younger, like a young girl, was tough because she had a lot of mental health issues. She was dealing with a divorce. She had a lot of resentment towards my dad. She showed a lot of anger. So I guess sucked that up. I took that in, and I felt angry towards her for some of the things that she did while raising me. And as she got older and sicker, and in the year of her death, she died in January of 2016, I decided to spend that entire year in that word of forgive. And it started with my mom. It started long before she died. We did have a very fulfilling, I guess, deathbed conversation, because I wasn't the perfect daughter either. I did some nasty stuff, and it helped to bring about closure. And that really came full circle when I spent a lot of time thinking about how I could let go of the past. And it started with my mom, and it ended up moving towards my partner who committed suicide, because I was very angry about that as well. That's a hard one. There was a lot of anger and a lot of guilt mixed in. So if you're carrying around anger and you have trouble forgiving others or even forgiving yourself, because I applied that word to myself as well, where I said that I've done a lot of things that I wish I could take back. I beat myself up for them, and I still can. They happened like 30 years ago, but sometimes they can be really prominent in my mind. And so applying that word forgive as one of the top things I would love to tell my younger self to do has been really helpful. And we need to forgive ourselves. If we can't forgive ourselves, how can we forgive others? And if we forgive others and not ourselves, I don't think that's really healthy. So if you need an idea when New Year's comes around for a word of the year, you don't have to do it on New Year's, but maybe you can steal mine and use the word forgive. The last one that I'm going to share in this video before I make a part two is all about stress and building your stress resilience. This is the one that I feel like if I was giving out the first place award for a tip I could give to my younger self, it would be this one. Let's face it. I mean, there is no end to stress. We all have stress. We have eustress, which is good stress. We have bad stress. We all have things happen to us. It doesn't matter where you come from. We all have something happen in our lives repeatedly that causes stress. And while I was spending time being mad about my life or playing the victim, I had to realize that other people had crap happen to them too. And why is this important in perimenopause? Because stress and not being able to reframe it, to change your mindset, to let go of some things is not a road to hormone balance. It's actually the path to hormone imbalance. When we activate our stress response on a regular basis, our hormone balance and overall health suffers. We've all heard that chronic stress affects our health, and that can include our hormone balance as well. This is because we have alarm bells ringing off in our system. Our brain, our nervous system is wondering if we are safe, and it strives to keep us safe. And so if you're not in perimenopause yet, or if you're rounding the corner into perimenopause, understanding that your body's priority is to keep you safe over reproduction, over your healthy cycles, is going to be first and foremost. In the perimenopause years, your sex hormones are not going to be a priority when you're stressed out, your estrogen, your progesterone. And so when you have these swings of hormones in these years, well, adding constant stress is not going to help. I mean, this is a key to evaluate where you're at in life, who you're with, all of the things that are all that like stress input. This can affect your digestion and your bone health. And I really didn't think about how that would affect me in my menopause and postmenopause years. In fact, I just thought a lot of the things that I was going through was because I was grieving and grieving and grieving, and I just had a stressful life. And there's an article from the Korean Journal of Family Medicine that says excessive stress, which leads to the elevation of stress hormones, can negatively affect reproductive ability, including accelerating menopause. I think that my partner's death had this effect on me. He passed away when I was approaching 37 and my daughter was 22 months old. My emotions were everywhere. I had a massive financial burden. I couldn't sleep. It's a wonder I kept it together with the lack of sleep. I was trying to cope with being a mom, and then I moved my mom in against the advice of my therapist, who said, "You should not be doing that." She needed support and I had none. At the time, this wonderful therapist, I wish I could reach out to her and say thank you. She urged me to get a babysitter, to start to learn meditation, to go for massages so that I could relax my body. And I was so resistant. I was, again, a victim. I thought, you don't understand me. You don't understand my life. I can't afford a babysitter. I can't. When really I didn't understand how helping my nervous system could help my health in future years. I just felt she didn't understand what I was carrying, the burden of grief or the burden of motherhood. She was a mother herself, and I wish I listened. And if that's you, I want you to take a step back and look at how this might be affecting your life. And if you are a human doing rather than a human being, is there something you might be hiding from? I have so many more things that I could put into a top 10 list of what I would do different in perimenopause or how I would talk to my younger perimenopausal self. They're about my bone health, over exercising, nutrition, restrictive dieting, but also caring about what you eat. If you want to have more of these discussions, please pop that in the comments below. When you make a comment, this actually helps the YouTube gods or goddesses send these videos out into the world so other people can see them. Maybe they can relate to them as well. Right now, I'm going to get off my screen, relax my nervous system, and I'm going to see you in another video. And I can't wait for that day.